Some people talk to understand others. Introverts listen to what's not being said. They read the pauses, the tone, the hesitation between words. They notice the way someone's eyes flicker when they lie, how their shoulders tighten when they're hiding something, while others rush to speak. The introvert studies the silence, and that's where the truth always hides. It's not magic, it's awareness. Introverts process energy, not just language. They pick up on moods before anyone names them. They feel the tension in a room before anyone admits it's there. Their sensitivity isn't weakness, it's intuition, sharpened by stillness. They don't analyze people to judge them, they observe to understand them. And that quiet perception gives them an emotional accuracy most people never notice until it's too late. Others, that's why introverts rarely fall for appearances. They sense patterns, motives, and emotional inconsistencies long before others catch on. They can tell when someone's confidence is a mask, when kindness hides an agenda, when charm feels too polished to be real. It's not because they're cynical, it's because they see what others overlook. The truth is, introverts don't need to speak to connect. They read the room, the energy, the micro expressions that reveal everything words can't. Their silence isn't emptiness, it's observation in its purest form. And that's what makes them so hard to fool and so fascinating to those who don't understand them. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Brainy Quiet Mind, where we explore the deep psychology, hidden strengths, and emotional intelligence behind introverted minds. And if you're one of those people who can feel someone's mood without them saying a word, comment "I see" without speaking below. Let's dive into how introverts read people, not with noise, but with awareness. They notice subtle shifts in body language that others completely miss. Introverts read people in silence, not through words, but through movements most never see. A slight hesitation before a smile, shoulders tightening when someone pretends to be relaxed, eyes darting for a split second before answering a question, tiny, invisible signals that speak louder than voices ever could. While the world listens to what's being said, the introvert studies how it's being said, and that's where the truth lives. They're not trying to catch anyone, it's just instinct. Their quiet nature gives them space to observe. While others rush to respond, the introvert watches, registering every small shift like a human lie detector powered by empathy. They notice when someone's enthusiasm feels rehearsed, when laughter doesn't reach the eyes, when confidence has a tremor hiding underneath. These are the moments where the mask slips, and the introvert catches it effortlessly. To them, body language is a living story. The way someone crosses their arms, leans in, avoids eye contact, or fidgets with their hands, it all paints an emotional picture. They see comfort, anxiety, attraction, guilt, sometimes even before the person feels it themselves. And the reason they're so accurate is because they don't force understanding, they absorb it. Introverts don't rely on volume to connect, they rely on vibration. They can feel when a person's body disagrees with their words, when posture reveals the truth the mouth refuses to say. It's not analysis, it's awareness. Their quiet gives them room to see, and in a world obsessed with talking, that's a rare superpower. That's why people often feel both comfortable and vulnerable around introverts. They sense something, that they're being seen without being judged, but they also realize they can't fake it because no matter how charming or polished someone appears, the introvert has already read the truth in a gesture, a glance, a breath. They don't use this gift to manipulate or expose, they use it to understand. Their calm eyes read what's hidden, not to gain control, but to connect authentically. While others hear words, introverts hear energy. And that's what makes them so quietly powerful. They don't need to speak to know, they just watch, and everything reveals itself. They listen beyond words, tuning into tone, rhythm, and emotional pauses. Introverts don't just hear what people say, they hear how they say it. The tone, the rhythm, the cracks between words where emotions hide. They listen for the tremor in a confident voice, the hesitation after a lie, the silence that lingers just a second too long. To most people, it's just conversation, but to the introvert, it's data, raw emotion translated through sound. They're wired for subtlety. While others listen to reply, the introvert listens to feel. Every voice carries a frequency, and they're tuned into it like an instrument. They pick up tension behind laughter, sadness behind sarcasm, exhaustion behind small talk. They don't interrupt because they're processing everything, not just what's said, but what's avoided. It's the pause after, "I'm fine," the sigh before, "It's no big deal." Those moments say more than any sentence ever could. This is why introverts make people open up without even trying. Their calm presence and deep listening create space, a kind of emotional mirror that reflects what others didn't know they were revealing. People feel safe talking to them because, for once, someone actually hears them, not the performance, not the story, the feeling underneath. And that level of awareness changes everything. The introvert's silence isn't empty, it's decoding. They can tell when words don't match tone, when confidence sounds brittle, when warmth feels forced. They hear the energy in communication, the vibration behind meaning. And that's how they know the truth before anyone admits it. Their listening is an art form, slow, intentional, and deeply intuitive. It's why they rarely misunderstand people. They listen with empathy, not impatience. To them, every pause is an invitation to look deeper. Every shift in tone is a clue. Every rhythm in speech is an emotional fingerprint. In a world obsessed with talking louder, introverts win by hearing deeper. They don't need to ask for honesty, they can sense it. Because words may lie, but energy never does. And while everyone else scrambles to be heard, the introvert quietly masters the rarest skill of all, understanding without interruption. They sense energy changes instantly, reading the mood before anyone speaks. Before a single word is spoken, introverts feel the room. The shift in atmosphere, the tension in the air, the weight behind the silence. They notice it all in seconds. It's almost psychic, but it's not magic. It's emotional sensitivity turned into instinct. While most people rely on facial expressions or tone, introverts detect energy. They can walk into a space and know who's angry, who's nervous, who's pretending to be fine, long before the conversation begins. It's a survival skill disguised as intuition. Introverts are natural empaths, constantly tuning into emotional frequencies around them. The change in someone's breathing, the stiffness in posture, the sudden stillness in a group, it all speaks louder than language. Their mind registers these subtle cues automatically, like radar scanning for truth. They don't have to analyze it, they feel it. That's why they often seem quiet in social settings. They're not distant, they're processing. Their brain and heart are reading the atmosphere, filtering through invisible signals that others overlook. And when the energy feels off, they sense it instantly. They might not say anything, but inside, they already know something's wrong. It's that moment when everyone's laughing, but something in the air feels heavy. The introvert feels it first. They can't turn this ability off. It's hardwired. When they sense tension, their body reacts before their mind does. They'll grow quiet, observe more closely, and instinctively adjust their energy to stay balanced. Sometimes they even mirror calmness just to neutralize what's around them. That's their silent gift, emotional awareness that creates harmony without effort. But this gift comes with weight. Constantly feeling what others suppress can be exhausting. That's why introverts crave solitude. It's how they clear the emotional static they unconsciously absorb. They need stillness to reset their inner compass, to return to their own frequency after feeling everyone else's. Most people don't realize how deeply introverts experience the world. They're not withdrawn, they're perceptive. They don't need words to know what's happening. The energy tells them everything. And while others are busy guessing motives, the introvert already knows. Because the truth doesn't always speak, sometimes it hums, and they're the ones who hear it first. They detect emotional inconsistency when actions don't match intentions. Introverts have a radar for inconsistency. They can feel the split between what someone says and what they mean. It's not about judging, it's about sensing when energy doesn't align with behavior. They notice the smile that doesn't reach the eyes, the warmth that feels rehearsed, the apology that carries no sincerity. While others take words at face value, introverts listen to the tone underneath, the energy behind it, and the actions that quietly contradict it. They've seen too many performances to be fooled by appearances. A person can say all the right things, but if their energy feels off, the introvert feels it immediately, like static in the air. Their intuition is finely tuned to these small contradictions, a compliment that feels hollow, a promise that sounds too polished. A no problem said through clenched teeth, these tiny fractures reveal the truth long before it's spoken out loud. That's why introverts don't fall for charm easily. They know how easily words can be crafted and how often motives hide behind kindness. To them, authenticity has a frequency. It feels grounded, calm, congruent. When that balance is missing, something inside them goes still. They may not confront it directly, but they quietly start pulling back, protecting their peace before the illusion unravels. Their awareness comes from years of observation. Introverts spend so much time watching people that they've memorized the difference between real emotion and emotional performance. They've learned that words can be rehearsed, but energy can't. When someone's body language disagrees with their message, the introvert trusts what they feel, not what they're told. This ability makes them both compassionate and cautious. They understand people's contradictions, but they don't ignore them. They'll give space, they'll listen, but they won't be fooled twice. Their quiet strength lies in noticing what others overlook. That truth isn't always in confession, it's in consistency. So when someone's intentions sound pure, but their energy feels restless, the introvert knows something's off. They don't expose it. They simply step back and let time reveal what they already sensed. Because in the end, actions may speak louder than words. But for an introvert, energy speaks louder than both. They observe patterns quietly, connecting dots others overlook. Introverts are silent pattern readers. They don't just notice moments, they collect them. Every tone, glance, and reaction becomes a puzzle piece. While others rush through conversations, the introvert studies the rhythm, how people behave when they're comfortable versus when they're performing. They don't jump to conclusions, they gather evidence in silence. And when the picture forms, it's almost unsettling how accurate they are. They remember the little things, the stories that don't line up, the changes in routine, the emotions that surface only when no one's watching. Most people miss these details because they're too busy talking, but the introvert, they're listening, observing, cataloging. They build understanding not in bursts of attention, but through long observation. It's not guessing, it's pattern recognition. Unquote. They might notice that someone only shows kindness when others are watching, or that a person who always jokes is suddenly quiet after a specific name is mentioned. They connect emotional dots no one else has time to see. To the introvert, behavior is language and repetition is truth. People may lie with words, but they always reveal themselves in their patterns. This gift isn't about control, it's about clarity. The introvert uses these insights to navigate safely through social chaos. They know who's genuine, who's draining, who's hiding pain, and because they don't need to expose what they see, they remain underestimated, quietly aware, while others play their games out loud. Their patience is what makes them powerful. They don't need instant answers because they know truth always reveals itself over time. They sit back, watching stories unfold, noting the recurring behaviors that others excuse or ignore. When someone's mask starts to slip, the introvert isn't surprised. They saw the cracks long before. That's why their judgments are rarely wrong. They don't rely on first impressions, they rely on patterns. One act can be faked. Consistency cannot. And that's where their insight becomes their quiet armor. They don't have to react to deception because by the time it's visible, they've already seen it coming. While the world looks for proof, the introvert looks for patterns. And that's how they understand people. Not through gossip, not through guessing, but through silent observation that turns behavior into truth. They mirror calm energy, making people reveal more than they planned. Introverts have a quiet way of drawing out the truth, not by asking, but by being still. Their calmness disarms people. It makes others feel safe, unjudged, and strangely open. Before long, people start talking, sharing secrets, fears, and confessions they never meant to say out loud. It's not manipulation, it's resonance. The introvert's energy feels like a mirror, gentle, patient, and honest. And when people see themselves reflected in that stillness, they start to reveal what they've been hiding. calm energy is magnetic. Most people are used to tension, to being interrupted, to feeling unseen, to fighting for space in conversation. But when they meet someone who listens without judgment, their defenses drop. That's what introverts do, effortlessly. They create an emotional quiet where masks fall away. Someone might start a conversation casually, but within minutes, they're saying things they didn't plan to, because silence has a way of pulling truth to the surface. The introvert's calm doesn't demand attention, it invites authenticity. Their energy tells people, you can be real here, and that's rare. In that atmosphere, people stop performing, they stop censoring, they stop pretending, they open up, not because they're pushed, but because the introvert's presence feels safe enough to be honest. But what makes this powerful is how unintentional it is. The introvert isn't trying to dig deep or expose anyone. They simply hold space, their energy grounded, their attention genuine. And in that stillness, people unravel naturally. The calm becomes truth serum. The peace becomes permission. That's why introverts often know more than they should. They never pry, they just listen deeply enough for people to hand over their truths voluntarily. It's not manipulation, it's connection through quiet understanding. People sense it, that they're not being analyzed, just seen. And here's the paradox. While others think introverts are hard to read, introverts make everyone around them transparent. Their silence draws honesty the way gravity pulls light. Because when someone truly listens, with stillness instead of noise, people stop hiding. They speak freely. And in the calm reflection of the introvert's energy, the truth always finds its way out. They trust intuition over surface charm or performance. Introverts don't fall for the show. Smooth talk, flashy confidence, or perfect smiles rarely impress them because they've learned that charm is easy to fake, but energy never lies. While others get caught up in appearances, the introvert listens to the quiet signals underneath, the tone that wavers mid-sentence, the tension that contradicts the smile, the subtle shift in energy that says, something's off. Their intuition doesn't come from guessing, it comes from feeling. They trust what their gut tells them long before logic catches up. When everyone else is dazzled by charisma, the introvert stands still, watching. They can sense when confidence is covering insecurity, when generosity hides control, when friendliness feels rehearsed. They don't need proof right away. The unease in their chest is proof enough, and time always confirms what their intuition already knew. This instinct isn't arrogance, it's experience. Introverts have been burned before by trusting words instead of energy. They've seen how people can say all the right things while meaning none of them. Over time, they've learned that logic might lie to protect comfort, but intuition always whispers the truth. So now, when something doesn't feel right, they listen every single time. They don't argue with the evidence, they wait for it to appear. They'll observe quietly, letting patterns expose what energy already revealed. It's not that they're suspicious, they're simply tuned in. They know that charm is about distraction, but truth lives in the small inconsistencies others overlook. Their calm detachment allows them to see beyond performance. That's why people can't manipulate introverts easily. They can smile, flatter, or pretend, but the introvert's intuition picks up the disconnect instantly, and instead of confronting it, they simply withdraw, letting the truth unfold naturally. They never need to prove they're right. They just stop giving energy where the frequency feels wrong. Their trust in intuition is their quiet shield. It keeps them out of drama, out of manipulation, out of traps built on pretense. Because while everyone else is hypnotized by appearances, the introvert's inner voice stays clear. Energy doesn't lie. And that awareness, that deep, unshakable trust in what they feel, is what keeps them 10 steps ahead in a world full of performance. They use silence as their advantage because people expose themselves when they fill the quiet. Introverts know that silence makes people uncomfortable, and that's exactly why it's powerful. Most can't handle stillness. They rush to fill it, to explain themselves, to prove something. But the introvert, they stay quiet, watching how others respond to the space. Because in that space, truth slips out. What people say when they're nervous reveals who they really are. Silence is their weapon, subtle, psychological, and deeply effective. While others depend on words to control a situation, the introvert knows that silence creates control. They don't interrupt, they don't react, they just wait. And in that waiting, people begin to unravel. The liar starts over-explaining, the insecure start oversharing, the manipulator tries harder to impress, every attempt to fill the quiet becomes self-exposure. Introverts understand that stillness draws out authenticity. It makes people reveal motives they didn't mean to share. The silence says, I'm listening, and that alone forces honesty. They've mastered the art of using calm as pressure, not by intimidation, but by presence. It's not what they say that makes people reveal themselves, it's what they don't. This is why introverts rarely rush to respond. They know the moment they break the silence, they lose their advantage. Instead, they let others fill the gap. Every second of quiet is like a mirror, reflecting who's at peace with themselves and who isn't. People project their fears, insecurities, and hidden motives into the silence, and the introvert collects those fragments quietly, piecing together the truth. Their calm becomes unsettling, their quiet a test most people fail without realizing it. Because introverts don't need confrontation, they let silence do the talking. It reveals everything words try to hide. And when they finally do speak, it's with precision, one line that cuts through the noise, one truth that lands like a stone in water. That's the moment everyone realizes they were never quiet because they had nothing to say. They were quiet because they were learning everything. For introverts, silence isn't empty. It's strategy, it's awareness, it's truth unfolding in real time. And while others talk themselves into exposure, the introvert sits in calm mastery, proving that sometimes the loudest power is quiet. Introverts don't need to read minds, they read energy. They don't chase noise, they observe it. While everyone else tries to impress, they simply understand. That's their quiet advantage, the ability to see people clearly without a single word spoken. In a world obsessed with talking, introverts hold the real power, perception. They catch what others miss, sense what others hide, and feel what others can't say. That's why you can't fake authenticity around them. Their silence will always expose what performance tries to cover. If you've ever been that person, the one who notices shifts in tone, feels energy before it's named, and senses truth without needing proof, this video was made for you. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to Brainy Quiet Mind, where we explore the depth, awareness, and quiet intelligence that make introverts so rare and misunderstood. And if you've watched this far, comment quiet awareness below so I'll know you're one of the few who doesn't just hear people, you read them.